How's it going, guys? Once again, it is time for a new issue of The Walking Dead. So I'm here to talk about issue 174, titled A Solitary Life, which came out today, December 6th, 2017. And it's like 3 in the morning, so it's kind of an odd time for me to be doing this kind of stuff, but comics wait for no man, am I right? So let's break down the action, talk about what was good and bad from the issue. It started out, Negan was picking a sunflower, digging up the roots, and he was picking it up to plant it by the grave that he made for Lucille, the baseball bat, which, again, he was using as sort of a replacement for his wife, Lucille. So now it kind of seems like he's transferred that again from the bat to the sunflower, which he was saying a lot of kind of perverted things about that sunflower, making a lot of genitals jokes and swearing a lot. But that's classic Negan. I mean, you got to kind of appreciate all of that. But it's always strange seeing Negan so broken down after seeing him so strong for so long. That's always hard. But Negan is always going to be Negan, so you're always going to get that kind of fun interaction. So there were two walkers there that were following him that he kind of took as his audience, and he did not like that they weren't very amused by his jokes. But he didn't kill those walkers. He pushed them over and said that he might be able to use them to catch someone if they came and tried to break in his house. Which, when we're talking about his house, I believe it's literally maybe his house, because inside he's got a pretty nice setup going on. He's got a sleeping bag and a bunch of food, some water, a bunch of magazines. He even found a truck that was overturned with a bunch of old expired food in it that apparently gave him diarrhea, which is not great. But he also ate a dog, which he said tasted not so great. But when you're in a zombie apocalypse, you gotta take what you gotta take, whether it's a dog or not. So he's fine for food. He's got his water. He goes on a scavenging run, and he finds a barn. And inside that barn, in one of the stalls, there's a baseball bat leaning up against the wall. So at first, he's kind of freaked out, and he runs out. He goes back to his house, and he lays down in his sleeping bag, and is relaxing. And then it hits him, and he starts just sprinting towards that barn. And he picks up the bat, and he starts walking home with it. And he finds a fence, and it's got barbed wire, and he's like, oh man. So he goes back into his house, and he starts wrapping the barbed wire on the bat, making a new Lucille 2.0, which I thought was kind of cool. Who doesn't like Lucille as far as the weapon itself, what it means to Negan? I mean, that's all pretty cool. But as he was sitting there winding the barbed wire around the bat, making it nice and tight, who shows up behind him but Maggie and Dante? Maggie tells Dante to wait outside, and that's when things get kind of rough, because Maggie, of course, is still very upset at everything Negan's done to this point. He's killed Glenn. He's done so many horrible things to her people that it's hard to even imagine that she even would take any kind of pity on him. She holds a gun to his head, and she says that she's there to kill him, and he kind of throws her off guard when he shows just how much pain he's really in. He talks about how he's lost Lucille, and he knows how bad that is, and how every time he sees her face every day, and he remembers conversations they had, but yet every time when Maggie thinks about Glenn, she thinks about Negan bashing his head in, crying her name as he just got his brain smashed in, and Negan was laughing. And Negan used all that to try to get her to end his life, because he just didn't want to live alone anymore, away from everybody. He has realized that what he has done may have kept him safe for a long time, but also wasn't human. And he wants to be more of a human. He wants to be more smart, like Lucille might have been if she had a chance to survive. And I thought all of that was really interesting. He even went as far as, once Maggie lowered her gun and said that he wasn't worth killing, that he picked up her hand, held the gun to his head, and said to pull the trigger. This is all, like I said, remembering the Negan that we all saw that was so strong, fun-loving, vulgar, and everything. The broken down version of Negan, we all knew that this was coming eventually, and that Maggie was going to visit him. I just wasn't sure if it was going to be in this issue, and it sure is. Uh, Eventually, after a lot of crying and a lot of heartbreak, Maggie decides that Negan is living a much worse life right now than if she were to kill him, and leaves him for, you know, leaves him alone out there. And she even kills the two walkers that he left alive to kill whoever came, and so they wouldn't get to him while he was on his knees crying. Uh, but yet the most surprising part of the episode is when Maggie goes outside and she tells Dante, "I didn't kill him," and then she plants a big old kiss on him. It looked like Maggie and Dante was one of those relationships that everybody kind of wanted to see happen, but never would. So maybe this is a step in finally making that happen. Personally, I'm a big fan of Maggie and Dante. I think Dante would, you know, do anything in his power to make Maggie happy. And maybe seeing how broken Negan was and remembering like how happy she could be with Glenn helped her realize that Dante deserves a shot. Or maybe it was just a moment of passion. Who knows? And we'll have to find out more in later issues. But to me, that was a major development. Uh, I am glad it didn't go too far, though, because sometimes in comics they take that extra step. Like, could you imagine if Maggie would have broken down and said, "Hey, Negan, you know, you can't live this kind of solitary life. Come live at the hilltop." Now that would have been too far. This way, you know, she doesn't kill him. She shows some mercy, but she also shows that, you know, she does still absolutely hate him, and her leaving him there was more of a punishment than a release for killing him. So, uh, as a whole, everything kind of made sense, and it all had sort of some of those fun Negan moments where you had the dog that he said didn't taste very good, and he felt kind of bad about dying, and you know all the dirty jokes while he was gardening, and it was a very very Negan issue of the comics. But Negan issues are good sometimes, and we're gonna see a lot different things next month because 175 is when we're gonna see the introduction of the New World Order, and I don't know what to expect from that group. So to kind of like give fans this little small interlude, a peek into what Negan has been doing this whole time, and to see Maggie get her revenge without getting her revenge. I thought this was a really good issue. It's not going to be as action packed, or you know, I'm not sure how it's going to be received by other fans or critics, but personally, I really enjoyed it. I was left wondering whether he was going to make this new Lucille, and you know that was going to be his new baby, or if gardening was going to be his new thing, or you know what was next for Negan. And now I'm still really not sure what's next for Negan, because it seems like he's going to be working hard to try to get out of his solitary life and try to find a place somewhere. But it's not going to be at the sanctuary. It's not going to be at the hilltop. It's not going to be at Alexandria. Probably not the kingdom either. So he's going to have to find somewhere where he can fit in, and whether that's continuing to prove himself or to be a good ally or what, I don't know. But it's going to be a long time coming, and I'm excited to see where this journey takes him. Because if you had imagined that you'd have seen this version of Negan back when he was introduced on the road with the baseball bat, I really don't think I could have imagined it. Because in the world of Walking Dead, these villains get introduced, and sure, they're big, tough individuals, or you know, very manipulative, controlling. You know, they just have all these powers, as far as you know, not like supernatural powers, but you know, influence over people, and you know, just crazy resources or something like that. And for Negan, to see him fall this far is hard, and it's kind of weird because as much as you want to hate Negan, you really can't because he's so damn entertaining. But like I said, as a whole, I really enjoyed this comic. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll actually go, I'll give this one a 9 because there was a lot of good stuff going on here. Sure, there was a bit of fluff to go on, but I kind of liked how it built up just how much Negan was losing out of missing Lucille, and even Lucille the Bat, and how he was transferring all that to the sunflower and the makeshift grave and the bat he found, and even the house. And the only thing that I kind of get is too is talking to yourself. I mean, I know I'm talking to myself right now because I'm talking to a computer screen, but I'm imagining I'm talking to a person here. But for it's hard to imagine someone talking to themselves that much. But when you're Negan and you've got that gift of gab, I guess that's just something that he does. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this one a little short, a little over 10 minutes, I guess, for discussing this issue. But I will be back next month to talk about how I felt about the introduction of the New World Order, which I'm really excited about. But I do recommend you go pick this one up. There's a lot of great artwork in it. The emotion on the faces of Negan and Maggie during this issue, and how Dante's face just does like the biggest whoop, which is absolutely awesome. So yeah, I recommend you picking this one up, add it to your collection, and of course, next month you've got 175, the introduction of the new baddies. That one's gonna sell like hotcakes because it's the introduction of a new arc, and I can't wait to see what happens. Alright, thanks again for joining us here on Undead Talking. Head on over to Undead Walking, check out all the articles. I've got the full recap of the issue up, so feel free to check that out. I'm going to post this up along with other information, maybe something from the letter hacks or something like that. But thanks again for joining, and I'll see you next month.